Welcome to Grassroots Safety Conversations with Ross. Yes, I'm your host, and naturally my name is Ross. As your host, look, I've worked in industry for over 40 years and consider myself a bit of a safety professional who has worked at the grassroots, corporate and in the OH&S regulator environment. In saying this, my views and discussions that will be had in these podcasts are from my own experience as a safety professional and do not reflect any official policy or position of the organisation I have worked in or are currently working in. Yes, that's the legal bit out of the way. I'm trying to, with these podcasts, to demystify how safety has come so complex and trying to give some solutions that I've used and still using in my day-to-day role as a safety advisor. Look, the conversations will cover safety-related topics from systems to education and a series about the C word. Be careful here about culture, consultation, communication and the crap factor. We'll also have some special guests discussing their own safety challenges, so I'm looking forward to doing those little podcasts. Look, at the end of the day, as a safety colleague of mine always says to his workers at the early morning toolbox briefs, I just want you to leave the site each day to go home to your family or friends in one piece. So let's get on to today's topic of discussion.
Welcome to episode 2, Grassroots Safety Conversations with Ross. Today's conversation is going to be about how I got into safety. And look, I kind of named this in a strange way to lots of people. It was a niche and I had to scratch it. And so when I'm reflecting over many years of being in safety, why did I get into it? Why did I put myself through so much pain and anguish over the years, dealing with so many different levels of people, not understanding safety, and then complaining that they hurt themselves and it was my fault? So I'm going to do a bit of a reflection going back to my early years. Look, I worked at a servo, the old, had the BP shirt and tie on and filling people's cars up with petrol and fixing up tyres and all that sort of stuff. No safety shoes, no glasses, no nothing. But then that was in the early 70s. Even working with my dad in the late 70s, spray painting heavy machinery for a construction company. No mask, no nothing. We just sprayed the paint everywhere, through the air compressors and all that sort of stuff. No PPE, no nothing. But it's what we did. We didn't know any better back then. When I got my first job, working for a major fertiliser organisation, part of the role as an industrial chemist I was training to be, I had to go out and sample sulfuric acid. Now this is 98% plus sulfuric acid. So we used to share the PPE, the goggles and the gloves, and so we wander out. Got shown once how to do it, so you wander out to the major plant and get our samples, and me being having small hands with big gloves and big horrible goggles on. Yeah, and used to sample until one day I heard these alarms and going, oh, what are these alarms? I got sprayed with sulfuric acid. And it kind of woke me up as a 18, nearly 19-year-old. What's going on here? Why did this happen? But it didn't really settle in till later on. 1 year that I was on my birthday, I was on call, as you are as a young person, get called out. I was asked to go and do analysis halfway up the exhaust stacks. I wasn't in a really sober mode at that time, but I still went and did the job, and I still don't understand how I got up those ladders and got back down, did the analysis and got back home again. Unbelievable. Back then, you just took things for granted. But I moved on to Shell, which is now Viva Refinery in Geelong. I worked in the laboratory, and look, Safety at Shell was just unbelievable. The first week all we did was inductions, safety, because we all know hydrocarbons are very dangerous in the industry. And we used to also have hydrofluoric acid, very dangerous chemical. We had some catalysts out there that any slight bit of moisture would explode. So the training was very intense. And we had an issue once. I was on shift and one of our lab workers got sprayed with a bit of hydrofluoric acid, and I had to shove him underneath the shower for nearly 20 minutes, which was the standard rule. before we took him off to hospital. Luckily he was okay, but we had all the chemicals, and I thought, gee, we lack a bit of basic training in this sort of area. And luckily enough, they had a HSR election. I put my hand up. I didn't expect to get it. I think I was the only one to put my hand up. So became a HSR, and that was back in 1987, 1988. And I've been HSR off and on right up to now. I won't tell you. Yeah, I'm 64. So learning to become a HSR and understanding a bit of safety kind of was that early days of me thinking, I wouldn't mind getting into safety a bit more. So during my time at Shell, I went on to do my Cert 4 and OH&S at the Gordon, the local TAFE in Geelong. Met some really wonderful people, and it gave me that little snippet of, I do enjoy doing a bit of safety. Look, I left Shell, went to work for the local water authority, and in the lab there, became a HSR. We had a really new laboratory, and we fixed it up, all our safety showers, fume cupboards, all that sort of stuff. Really helped me tune my levels of safety as a HSR. Had an opportunity to go into operations, in sewer operations. We did a lot of confined space entry work, and working with a lot of dangerous chemicals. And there was a couple of times there I didn't think I was going to survive, me being a little short person down these holes and looking up the tunnel. Where in the hell are these guys looking after me? And I had many discussions with the operations manager at the time and was a bit flopped off. But lucky enough, I became to do a bit more of the manager systems, 4801, 9001, and 14,001, the environmental one. Sorry about that. And look, I really got into it. I really enjoyed systems and how can they integrate through our workplace. And I did a lot of work those couple of years. And funnily enough, there was an opportunity to become a safety officer. So I applied for it to be part of it. And I was told by this operations manager, don't bother, Ross. You're not good enough. You'll never become a safety person. Funnily enough, they employed someone from outside, and for 3 months I had to train them. So that gave me that opportunity, or as I said to some people, kick in the bum, as you say, and made me get to go to the next level. So in the next 12 months, I went diploma, advanced diploma, got my Cert 4 in training and assessment, and returned to work, and went out to work in a waste management company, which gave me the opportunity to do safety full time, and I absolutely loved it. Really used all those years of experience to really do that work. So the itch was finally well and truly itched, and some people said, ripped the band-aid off, and it healed up, and I became a full-time safety person. But it didn't really come in until I went work for a big industry in Melbourne, where I had a bigger team and some really good professionals. Some of these I actually taught, OH&S at the TAFE, and the little buggers up the back and used to give me a hard time. But they were challenging to talk about safety. What safety is paramount is listening to people, understanding, and using empathy. I can't stress that enough. So, big career in Melbourne, came back to Geelong, did a lot of consultancy work, but there was still one itch I had to scratch, and that was I really wanted to work for the regulator. And luckily enough, I got an opportunity to work for the regulator, and they deemed high levels of knowledge and skills. And this is where I finished off doing my masters in OH&S. So the journey was long, it was a slog, but I got there. The itch was well and truly scratched. I enjoy it. I still enjoy it today. Even though we get frustrated with managers and senior managers, CEOs, I've ordered them in industry, and you think, why? Oh, they all say, well, it's not my problem, it's someone else's. And they forget, the safety manager will fix it. Well, it's not us as safety professionals to fix those sort of things. We're the advisors. We advise them what they do. We do the damn well best we can do. So I always say to people, when I've taught them or talked to them, they want to get into safety, I say, look, it's a great career. Make sure you get some industry experience behind you before you go and work for a major regulator, a major organisation, because it will challenge you. But challenge is what it's all about. So that's a bit of my reflection on getting into safety. It's not really high level. I could go on for a lot longer, and some of my people who know me, I can talk. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a snippet. Next episode 3, I'm going to talk about training. What levels of training we need to do, and I'm going to talk about the information I got from my masters about training and understanding knowledge and skills. So I hope you get something out of the day. If you don't, I'm sorry about that. But if you've got any questions, you can email me. As I said, it's grassrootssafety@outlook.com. Just send me an email and I'll try and get back to you. Don't forget, I am on Instagram, so be prepared. I'm going to start flooding that very shortly with lots of information. Okay, enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Look, I hope it's been of benefit to you. Get you to think about your family and friends and how working safely will get you home to them at night. I'm on Instagram. Look me up, Grassroots Safety with Ross. And this is where I will notify when the next podcast is available. Or you can email me at grassrootssafety@outlook.com. Grassroots Safety is all one word. So if you've got a topic or a query, or you want to ask me some other questions, look, send an email to me and I'll get back.